Everybody, welcome to Active Self-Protection Extra here today on John's Briefs with expert defense attorney Tim Forshee, talking today about disarms. And when you disarm somebody, are they still a deadly threat? To win the fight after the fight, you need help. After a use of force, I trust Firearms Legal Protection to help me win the fight for the rest of my life. From their 24/7 attorney-answered hotline to coverage for the use of all legal tools, Firearms Legal Protection has you covered. Get a discount by signing up at the link below. So thanks to C2 Tactical in Scottsdale for letting us use the conference room of the 338 Club here today. The video that we're talking about in question now, we've seen 100 of these though, okay? So I could have linked you 50 of them on the main channel. But in particular, this one out of Brazil that was a perfect disarm. It was literally money, like as good as they get. And he chased that dude down the block too, and gave him what for? I don't know what the Portuguese equivalent of what for is, but he gave him.
I love that you caught it was Portuguese instead of Spanish. Look at you, Mr. Brazil.
I mean, Correa.
I love it. There you go. Yeah, that's true.
But now I take a gun away from a guy, and we have seen other videos where then somebody has taken a gun away from somebody and used it on them. And I think that it seems to me that when I take a gun away from somebody, for some time there, they're still a deadly threat to me. But when does that evaporate?
Again, there's no hard line answer to that. I mean, as you said earlier, there's English and then there's legal, right? And
wait, the lawyer just told you the law is not written in English.
It's not written in English. And there's very, very few bright line instructions on this stuff. So when does it, again, it's a reasonable belief.
What would a reasonable person think?
Can the guy take the gun right back away from you? Does he have another weapon? You know, could he push you down and push the gun under your chin, you know, like the Ballad of Buster Scruggs, and take care of things that way? I mean, there is a period of time when you have two combatants in close quarters with a weapon. Yeah. Okay?
And now it's our weapon.
Exactly. It belongs to us, and that means it can be used to harm us, and that includes me. So now, again, the more time that elapses, the more distance that occurs, the less likely that's going to be a successful argument. And
so that idea of the reasonable person, right? When we ask, okay, so if I'm a juror and I'm sitting on a jury, I say, okay, I'm a reasonable person. I think of myself as reasonable.
Every person feels they're reasonable, right? Yeah.
And so the 12 of us together, or 8 of us depending, right? You know, we decide, okay, our collective reasonableness here. If I get put in the same situation as the defendant, knowing what the defendant knows and having what the defendant has, would I act in the way that the defendant acted? Or even if I wouldn't, could I conceive of myself kind of doing that, and would I say that that's maybe not the best, but reasonable? Right. Is where that ends up. So, you know, I will say what that reasonable person seems to me that he would look at is, am I still at reasonable objective fear of death or great bodily harm? Right. Where I see a lot of people, internet commenters in general, get in trouble is, well, yeah, but he just threatened me a while ago, so I should, you know, it's his fault, and so I should be able to do whatever I want.
That's not going to work.
And of course we go, well, at what level? What if he gets away, but you find out 3 days later who it was? Right.
You're going to go back and get him now?
And you're going to go get him. Yeah. You've heard this on the channel. I've told this story on the channel. My grandfather did 3.5 years for attempted murder. My grandfather wasn't the greatest human being in the history of ever. He was a good man, you know.
Where's your grandpa? You're here because of him.
Yeah, so. Well, but literally, somebody beat my grandma up, pistol whipped her, and my grandpa found out who it was, and 3 days later went and shot him in the face. And was convicted of attempted murder.
And the reason that he only did 3.5 years is because that was probably 40 years ago or longer.
It was let's see, late 80s, and he was sentenced to 7, and then only did half of it.
So there was a little bit of the bastard had it coming going on there.
Oh yeah, big time. So, and he was a scumbag and all these other things. So anyways, my point is, found him 3.5 days later, can't claim self-defense, can't claim any of that. That was retribution.
That's vengeance.
That's vengeance, clearly. So at some point it becomes vengeance. You know?
Inigo Montoya.
You killed my father.
Much as I love that, that's a vengeance killing.
It's a vengeance.
He goes in prison the rest of his life. I'm sorry.
He's like, no, I'm going to go have mutual combat with this guy.
Exactly.
and so, yes, he did. So, you know, you think and you go, all right, but there's some gray area as the distance opens, as the time elapses, and those things. So, as an attorney, what would be your advice about those areas?
Well, first of all, you know, looking at this video, like you, I'm assuming that once he disarmed the weapon that he was aware that it was not a real weapon.
He said he thought it was fake. And
all right. And so is he saying that's why he chose to do the disarm?
Well, I think he said, I saw it was fake, so I just grabbed it a hold of him. So I think his thought was, I'm going to beat the crap out of this kid I'm going to teach him a lesson.
Don't forget, and you pointed out in the video, during your analysis, you pointed out very appropriately that he had a young child with him.
Yeah.
And he sort of pushed the child behind him, which I thought was very admirable and very
Super
thoughtful.
good.
But then what did he do? Took off. Left the kid behind. What else is going on? Does this guy have an accomplice? Is there somebody else in the back of the store? I mean, I would never have left my child to be vengeant. You know, I wouldn't have done that. I think chasing him was a bad idea.
Well, the predator drive is so strong.
Of course,
it's so strong.
Of course, you got him in your sights. You just kicked his butt. You want to finish the job. How do you know he doesn't have a real gun in the back of his pants? So, I mean, in hindsight, which is always 20/20, as we all know, he really should not have chased after that guy. I thought that was a very bad idea.
And so we use these lessons to remind ourselves what our principles are and say, I'm staying with my child and not chasing
That's exactly right. Hunker down, drag the child to the back of the store, and assuming that he has a cell phone, call 911 and wait for the police to arrive. Exactly right, yeah.
But you know, let's just say, okay, so maybe the gun, and we have had him where the gun was real.
Mm-hmm. And again, if he was well trained, and it looked to me in the video that he was, if he did do a disarm on a real gun, and the guy's in his face, what are you and I both taught to do most of the time?
Yeah, I'm going to shoot him.
Going to shoot him.
I'm going to shoot him.
Yeah, right then. Because it's right now, and I'm not letting this go any further.
Right.
Am I still in fear for my life? You bet. In other words, I don't let time elapse probably in that situation. So but that's a whole other situation because it would have been a real gun. So, but yeah, I mean, I think that, like you said, admirable. You know, the hand skills of this guy are admirable. But I wish he hadn't chased the guy. Yeah.
And so, listen, it boils back down to the same principle, in my opinion, right? Do I have to shoot this guy right now?
Right.
I just take the gun away from him. He's still in my face. This is our gun right now.
Yeah.
I took it away from him, which probably means he might be able to take it away from me.
Right.
So I'm going to use it right now.
I think the first thing I would do, whether it was a real gun or a fake gun, was I would do a muzzle strike to the face. You know, something like that, just to get distance and cause the guy some pain.
I'm a big fan. If I have the time to do the muzzle strike, I'll do it ballistically.
Yeah,
I'll do it.
I'll do it. Point. Yeah, it's just it's a little more permanent.
It's true. And at the same time, okay, cool. Now, if I don't have to shoot him, if bang, we do all that, and for me to get the gun in my hands, he's decided to run off, and he's going. Yeah. Good, let him go.
Yep, amen.
And listen, even from the perspective of, okay, he's gone, he's off. Well, he might come back with friends, whatever. Listen, I'm carrying my own gun, and I'm already 1-0 against this guy. Mm-hmm. Chances of him coming back very slim. And at the same time, I've had a couple instances where I used OC spray instead of a firearm. Mm-hmm. Much less worry about the local constabulary.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
You know, even you've heard this on the channel a couple times. I've had to OC spray dogs, and you know, you pepper spray a dog. I don't even call the cops. Like, he ran off, and he'll be fine in a couple hours. Nobody cares. It's, you know, I haven't hurt nobody. You shoot a dog, the rest of your day is over.
Well, at best.
At best, right? Now, you know, as long as it was reasonable what you did, he was attacking me, blah blah.
And
blah.
anymore, let's be honest, there are jurisdictions that they're going to care more about a dog getting shot than a human being getting shot. I'm sorry to tell you.
So that same thing applies here, though. If I have to. If I feel like I didn't have any other choice, I had to stop this guy right now. I had my little one right next to me.
Right.
I'd just taken a gun away from this guy. He was threatening us, and I didn't have any other choice.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll have a problem. If it was, well, he was almost across the street, and if I didn't shoot him, he was going to get away.
Right. That's a problem.
That's a problem. Which is a good reminder to shut up and not talk before you have to.
Can't overemphasize that.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, Tim, thank you so much.
As
for the
always,
advice,
buddy.
man.
Thank you.